Billionaire brings a simple girl to his sister's wedding. The groom calls her ma'am, then regrets it. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to our main character. Ethan Cole tightens his grip on the steering wheel as the city lights blur past the windshield. The dashboard clock reads 7:42 p.m. He is late, not because of traffic, but because he has been sitting there for 3 full minutes, engine running, wondering if this is a mistake he can still turn back from. Beside him sits Lily Parker. She smooths the hem of her borrowed dress with careful fingers. Navy blue, simple cut. The kind of dress that looks respectful, not impressive. She had hesitated when she put it on, knowing it was the best she could do, knowing it still would not be enough for where they are going. A wedding, not just any wedding. His sister's wedding. At a private estate 30 miles outside the city, where valet attendants wear gloves and the flowers alone cost more than Lily's yearly rent. Lily exhales slowly and looks out the window. "You can still drop me off," she says softly. "I mean it. I will take an Uber. I will pretend this never happened." Ethan does not answer right away. His jaw tightens. He had rehearsed this moment in his head. The calm reassurance, the logical explanation. This is temporary. This is practical. This solves a problem. But when he glances at her, he sees the tension in her shoulders, the way she is bracing herself for something she cannot yet name. "No," he says. "We go in together. If you wanted the stains dotted in the stains in the man." They have an agreement. Clear. Clean. One weekend. One role to play. She is his date. Nothing more. His family has been asking questions for months. Why are you still single? Who are you seeing? Is something wrong with you? His mother's voice, concerned but relentless. His sister's jokes, sharper than she realizes. And tonight, with cameras, donors, and distant relatives flying in from 3 states away, the pressure is heavier than ever. So he made an offer Lily could not easily refuse. Attend the wedding with him. Smile. Hold his arm. Let people assume. In return, he helps her. No strings. No promises. Just a favor for a favor. At least that is what it was supposed to be. The gates appear ahead, iron and towering, opening slowly as security waves them through. Lily's heart starts to pound. She straightens her back, trying to sit the way she imagines women in magazines sit. Confident, unafraid. But she is afraid. Afraid of the stares. Afraid of the questions. Afraid that someone will see through her in a second and wonder why she is here at all. The car pulls into the circular driveway. Music drifts through the air. Soft strings, laughter. The sound of glasses clinking together. Ethan steps out first, tall, composed, perfectly at home. He walks around and opens her door, offering his hand. For a moment, Lily hesitates. Then she places her hand in his. The stone beneath her shoes feels cold and unforgiving. She tells herself to breathe. Just walk. Just smile. Just pretend. As they approach the entrance, heads begin to turn. Conversations lower, eyes flicker, assessing, calculating. Lily feels it instantly. She does not belong here. And everyone knows it. Ethan senses it too. The subtle shift in the air. The curiosity sharpening into judgment. But he keeps his expression neutral, his posture relaxed. This is his world. He knows how to move through it. What he does not know is how quickly it can turn cruel. Inside, the lights are warm, the room vast. His sister's wedding is moments from beginning. And somewhere in this crowd stands the groom, confident, smiling, ready to greet the guests, ready to say one word that will change everything. Lily does not hear it yet, but she will. The ceremony has not started yet, but the room already feels full. Lily notices it first. The way conversations pause for half a second when they pass. The way smiles appear, polite but measured, then disappear just as quickly. She keeps her hand lightly looped through Ethan's arm, careful not to grip too tightly, afraid that even that small gesture might be read as desperation. Ethan guides them through the space with practiced ease. He nods to a business partner here, greets an aunt there, His voice is calm, steady, like nothing about tonight is unusual. But Lily feels every step. The floor beneath her heels seems harder than it should be. The chandelier light feels too bright. She tells herself to breathe slowly, to remember the rules. Smile. Say as little as possible. Let him lead. This is Lily, Ethan says at one point, introducing her to an older couple near the bar. The woman looks Lily up and down, just once. Quick. Precise. How lovely, she says, though her eyes have already moved back to Ethan. Lily nods, keeping her smile in place. They move on. You are doing fine, Ethan murmurs quietly as they walk away. Lily gives a small nod, though her stomach is tight. Fine does not feel like the right word. Surviving feels closer. Ahead, she sees the groom for the first time. Daniel Harper stands near the front of the room, laughing with a group of guests. He looks confident, relaxed, perfectly at ease in a tailored suit that probably cost more than Lily's monthly paycheck. This is his night. Everyone knows it. As they approach, Daniel turns, his smile ready, automatic. Then his eyes land on Lily. Something shifts. The smile falters, just slightly, before he recovers. His gaze flicks to Ethan, then back to her, lingering a moment longer than necessary. Well, Daniel says, stepping forward, extending a hand toward Ethan. You finally made it. Daniel says, would not miss it, Ethan replies. Daniel's eyes slide back to Lily. He tilts his head, the gesture almost curious. And you must be, he begins. There is a brief pause. A silence that stretches just a second too long. Lily opens her mouth, ready to introduce herself. But Daniel beats her to it. Ma'am, he says, his tone smooth, polite, unmistakably formal. The seating for guests is on the left. Staff usually enters through the side. The words land softly, and yet they hit like a slap. For a moment, Lily does not move. She is not sure she has heard him correctly. Around them, a few nearby conversations trail off. Someone lets out a small, awkward laugh, then quickly stops. Lily feels her face warm. Her hand slips from Ethan's arm before she can stop it. I am sorry, she says quietly. I am with him. Daniel blinks, surprised, then chuckles. Of course, he says, waving a hand lightly. My mistake. But the damage is done. Lily can feel it in the air. The unspoken judgment. The assumption that came too easily. She lowers her eyes, wishing she could disappear into the crowd. This was the moment she had feared. The moment when pretending stops being harmless. Ethan says nothing yet. He stands very still beside her, his expression unreadable. Around them, the music continues to play. Glasses clink. The wedding planner calls for guests to begin taking their seats. But something has shifted, and everyone is watching to see what Ethan will do next. The silence does not last long, but it feels endless to Lily. She keeps her eyes lowered, focusing on the pattern in the marble floor, telling herself to stay calm. This was always a risk. She knew it the moment she agreed to come. She is the outsider, the temporary solution. The person who does not belong. She prepares herself for what usually comes next. An awkward apology. A quiet step back. A signal from Ethan that they should move along. Instead, she hears his voice. Daniel, Ethan says, evenly. The groom turns back toward him, still wearing that polite smile. Yes? That was not a mistake, Ethan replies. His tone is calm, but something beneath it has hardened. And you owe her an apology. The nearby guests fall completely silent now. Daniel blinks again, clearly not expecting resistance. He laughs lightly, as if this is a misunderstanding he can smooth over with charm. Come on, Ethan. I was just trying to help. These events can be confusing. Lily looks up despite herself. Ethan does not smile. She is not staff, he says. She is my guest. A ripple moves through the group around them. Someone shifts uncomfortably. Someone else looks away. Daniel straightens his jacket, his jaw tightening. I did not mean anything by it, he says, his voice lowering. But you know how these things look. Family. Appearances. Ethan steps slightly closer to Lily, close enough that she can feel the warmth of his presence beside her. I know exactly how they look, he says. That is why I am being very clear. He turns then, not just to Daniel, but to the small circle of guests who have gathered, pretending not to stare while listening to every word. This is Lily, he says, his voice steady and unmistakably public. And she is here with me. Not as a favor. Not as a misunderstanding. As my partner for tonight. Lily's breath catches. She had not expected that word. Daniel's smile is gone now. Ethan, he says quietly, warning creeping into his tone. Let us not turn this into a scene. Ethan does not raise his voice. He does not need to. The scene happened when you spoke to her the way you did, he replies. I am simply responding to it. The music in the background falters, then resumes at a lower volume. The wedding planner stands frozen near the aisle, unsure whether to intervene. Lily feels every eye in the room on her. Her instinct is to shrink, to apologize for existing in this space. But Ethan remains where he is. He does not move away. He does not soften his stance. Apologize, he says again, calmly. Daniel hesitates. Pride flashes across his face, then calculation. He glances around, noticing the attention, the phones subtly lowered, the expressions of the guests who matter. Finally, he turns back to Lily. I am sorry, he says, the words clipped, formal. I made an assumption. Lily nods, unsure what to say. Her voice feels trapped somewhere in her chest. Thank you, she manages. Daniel steps back, clearly eager to end the exchange. We should all take our seats, he says quickly. The ceremony is about to begin. As people begin to disperse, the tension lingers like static in the air. Lily exhales slowly, her hands trembling despite her efforts to steady them. She turns toward Ethan, lowering her voice. You did not have to do that. Yes, he replies quietly. I did. She studies his face, searching for doubt, for regret. There is none, only resolve. And in that moment, Lily realizes something has changed. This no longer feels like pretending. Not anymore. The ceremony unfolds in a blur for Lily. She sits beside Ethan in the front rows, her hands folded tightly in her lap, listening to vows that feel distant and unreal. The words, love, commitment, forever float through the air, landing softly but never quite reaching her. Her mind keeps returning to what just happened. The way Ethan spoke. The way he did not hesitate. When the officiant finally announces the couple as married, the room erupts into applause. Guests rise to their feet. Music swells. Smiles return, brighter and louder than before, as if the tension from moments earlier can be erased by celebration alone. Lily claps politely, her palms barely touching. Ethan leans toward her. Do you want to step outside for a moment? He asks quietly. She nods, grateful. They slip out through a side door and into the garden, where the air is cooler and the noise from inside fades into a low hum. White lights are strung between the trees, casting a soft glow over the stone path. Somewhere in the distance, glasses clink and laughter rises again. Lily exhales, long and shaky. I am sorry, she says, the words tumbling out before she can stop them. I did not mean to cause trouble. I knew this could happen. I should have stayed invisible. And he won. We're batters of thembers, and to get to maning and bodian. Ethan turns to face her fully now. Do not apologize, he says. Not for that. She looks up at him, confusion flickering across her face. But I embarrassed you. Your family, your sister. No, he replies. What embarrassed me was how easily he assumed you did not belong. Lily swallows. That is how it always is, she says softly. People decide who you are before you get the chance to speak. Walking in basket. It is not Nodia. Ethan studies her for a moment, as if seeing something he had not allowed himself to notice before. I know, he says quietly. And I am realizing how often I have benefited from that without questioning it. The admission hangs between them. Inside, the music shifts to something livelier. The reception is beginning. Soon, someone will come looking for them. Soon, they will have to return to the performance. Lily breaks the silence. You did not have to call me your partner, she says. You could have just corrected him and walked away. Ethan does not answer right away. He looks back toward the building, then at her again. When I said it, he admits, I was not thinking about the agreement. Her heart skips. Then what were you thinking about? I was thinking about how wrong it felt to let you stand there alone, he says. And how right it felt to stand beside you. Lily laughs softly, more from nerves than humor. Careful, she says. That sounds like something real. Anyone's? Telp the count of her 5. Today's mine of her. Ethan meets her gaze. That is what worries me. The honesty in his voice catches her off guard. This is not part of the plan. This is not something she prepared for. I know my world can be overwhelming, he continues. And I know tonight confirms some of your worst fears about it. She nods. It did. He takes a breath. But if you want to leave early, I will understand. If you want to stop pretending, we can do that too. In started. Lily looks back toward the lights, the music, the world that is not hers. Then she looks at him. No, she says after a moment. I do not want to leave. His eyebrows lift slightly. I came here pretending, she continues. But you did not pretend back there. And that matters to me. For a second, neither of them speaks. Then Ethan offers his arm again, the same way he did in the driveway. This time, he waits. Lily hesitates only a moment before taking it. They walk back inside together. As they re-enter the reception hall, heads turn again. The difference now is subtle, but unmistakable. Ethan does not guide her forward. He walks with her, matching her pace, unhurried, unapologetic. The whispers resume, but Lily notices something else too. Some of the looks have changed, and for the first time that night, she lifts her chin. Because whatever this started as, it no longer feels like she is here by accident. The reception is already in full motion when they return. Music fills the room, brighter and louder than before. Servers weave between tables, carrying champagne flutes and plated dinners. Laughter rises in waves, practiced and polished, as if everyone has agreed to move on from what happened earlier without acknowledging it. Lily feels the shift immediately. People look at her differently now. Not kinder, not warmer, just more careful. As Ethan leads her toward their table, conversations lower again. Names are whispered. Assumptions are revised in real time. She can almost hear the unspoken questions forming behind polite smiles. Who is she really? Ethan pulls out her chair and waits until she is seated before taking his own. The gesture is simple, but deliberate. Public. Unmissable. Lily notices his sister across the room, watching them with a thoughtful expression. Not hostile. Not approving either. Just observant. A server approaches. Wine? He asks Lily. Yes, please, she replies, her voice steady. The glass is placed in front of her, and for the first time that night, she allows herself a small sip. The tension in her shoulders eases just a fraction. You are doing well, Ethan says quietly. I am still here, she answers. That feels like an accomplishment. He smiles faintly. It is. Dinner is served. Conversations resume around them. Ethan speaks with ease, responding to questions, deflecting curiosity without offering explanations. Lily listens more than she talks, answering politely when spoken to, careful not to shrink, careful not to overcompensate. At one point, an older man at the table leans toward Ethan. I did not realize you were seeing someone, he says, glancing briefly at Lily. You have been very private. Ethan does not hesitate. Some things are worth protecting, he replies. Lily looks down at her plate, heat rising in her cheeks. The band shifts into a slower song. A familiar melody. Couples begin to stand, chairs scraping softly against the floor. Ethan turns to her. Would you like to dance? The question is simple. Gentle. No expectation attached. Lily hesitates. Dancing means more attention, more eyes, more chances to feel exposed. But hiding feels worse. Yes, she says. He stands and offers his hand. This time, she takes it without doubt. On the dance floor, he places one hand lightly at her back, the other holding hers. He keeps a respectful distance, giving her space, letting her set the rhythm. They move slowly, almost awkwardly at first, adjusting to each other. I am not very good at this, Lily admits. That makes two of us, Ethan says. I spend most of my time avoiding it. She laughs quietly, surprised by how natural it feels. Around them, the room blurs. The lights soften. The music carries them forward, one careful step at a time. This was supposed to be easy, Lily says after a moment. In and out. No complications. I know, Ethan replies. I thought so too. She looks up at him. Do you regret it? He considers the question honestly. No, he says. I regret not realizing sooner how uneven the ground was. Her chest tightens. I'm used to it, she says. being underestimated, being invisible, until someone needs to put me in my place. Have a minor? He shakes his head slightly. You should not have to be used to that. The song ends. Applause ripples through the room. As they step back, Lily notices Daniel across the floor, watching them with an unreadable expression. He looks away quickly when their eyes meet. Something about it unsettles her. As they return to the table, Ethan's sister approaches at last. She stops in front of Lily, studying her openly. I am Claire, she says. Ethan's sister. And it is next to place furtive comments. Lily, she replies, meeting her gaze. Claire smiles, slow and measured. Thank you for coming tonight, she says. It means more to my brother than he lets on. Lily glances at Ethan, surprised. Claire leans in slightly, lowering her voice. Family gatherings can be unkind to those who do not fit the mold. She adds. You handled yourself with grace. Thank you, Lily says quietly. Claire nods once and moves on. As the evening continues, Lily realizes something important. The pretending has changed. She is no longer just playing a role to survive the night. She is standing in it, being seen, being chosen, moment by moment. And that is what scares her most. Because when the lights dim and the music fades, pretending will no longer be enough. And she does not know what happens next when something that started as a contract begins to feel dangerously real. As the night stretches on, the celebration loosens. Jackets come off. Laughter grows louder. The band shifts into familiar songs that pull guests back onto the dance floor. The room feels warmer now, softer around the edges, as if time itself has relaxed its grip. Lily notices it in the way people speak more freely, in the way drinks are refilled without asking, and in the way attention returns to her, subtly but persistently. She excuses herself to step away from the table, heading toward the terrace for a moment of quiet. The cool air brushes her face, steadying her thoughts. From here, she can still hear the music, muted through glass doors, but it feels distant enough to breathe. She is leaning against the railing when a voice speaks behind her. You handled yourself well in there. Lily turns. Daniel stands a few feet away, holding a drink he does not seem interested in finishing. Without the spotlight of the ceremony, he looks different, less polished, more guarded. Thank you, she says carefully. He nods once. I wanted to say that earlier. I misjudged you. The words sound rehearsed. Necessary. Not sincere enough to erase what came before. Lily does not respond right away. Daniel shifts his weight. You should know, he continues, lowering his voice. This family is not easy. Ethan lives in a different world than most people realize. Being close to him comes with expectations. Lily meets his gaze. I am aware. Are you? He asks. Because tonight made it clear you do not fit the image they usually accept. There it is. The warning disguised as concern. I did not ask to be accepted, Lily replies evenly. I was invited. Daniel studies her for a moment, then exhales. Just be careful, he says. People like Ethan do not always understand the cost of standing against their own. Before she can answer, he turns and heads back inside, leaving the night heavier than before. Lily stays where she is, her grip tightening on the railing. She has been warned like this before. By landlords, by employers, by people who believed they were doing her a favor by reminding her of her place. What unsettles her now is not the warning itself. It is the possibility that it might be true. Behind her, the door opens again. Ethan steps out onto the terrace, scanning the space until his eyes land on her. There you are, he says quietly. I was starting to wonder if you disappeared. Just needed air, she replies. He approaches, stopping beside her. Did Daniel say something? She hesitates, then nods. He thinks I should be careful around you. Ethan lets out a slow breath. That sounds like him. He says your world has a price. Lily continues. That standing beside me tonight might cost you something. Ethan looks out over the darkened grounds. It already has, he admits. She turns to him. Then why did you do it? He does not answer immediately. The silence between them feels different now. More fragile. Because letting it happen would have cost me more, he says at last. Lily's chest tightens. I do not want to be a liability, she says. I do not want to be another burden you defend for one night and forget the next. You are not a burden, he replies firmly. And this is not about one night. She studies his face, searching for certainty. Then what is it about? Ethan meets her gaze. It is about choosing what kind of man I am when it actually matters. Argyle. The honesty in his voice leaves her momentarily speechless. Inside, the music shifts again. A louder song. The sound of applause. Someone is calling for a toast. They will be needed soon. Lily straightens, drawing a breath. When this is over, she says carefully, everything goes back to normal for you. He does not correct her. That is what scares me, she adds. Ethan reaches out, then stops himself, his hand hovering briefly before falling back to his side. I do not know what normal looks like anymore, he says. But I know I do not want to pretend you were just a role I played. The words settle between them, heavy and unresolved. They return inside together, but something has shifted again. The distance between pretending and truth has narrowed, and both of them can feel how close they are now to crossing a line that cannot be uncrossed. The toast begins with laughter. Someone taps a glass. The room quiets. The best man steps forward, charming and confident, delivering stories meant to amuse without offending anyone important. Applause follows at all the right moments. Smiles return to their proper places. Lily stands beside Ethan near the edge of the crowd, her champagne untouched in her hand. She senses it before it happens, the subtle tightening of the air. The way attention shifts, drifting back toward them. Daniel steps forward again. Glass raised, his smile wide and practiced. If I may add something, he says smoothly. Tonight is about family. About welcoming people into it. A few guests nod, pleased. Lily's stomach drops. Daniel turns slightly, angling his body so his voice carries. Some guests arrive with invitations. Others arrive with timing. A ripple of uneasy laughter spreads. Ethan stiffens beside her. Daniel continues, his tone light but pointed. It is always interesting to see who people choose to bring when appearances matter most. Enrection communed bio. The words hang in the air. This time, the silence is heavier. Lily feels exposed in a way she cannot explain. This is not a mistake. This is deliberate. She sets her glass down slowly, preparing herself for the familiar ending. The moment where someone like her becomes the quiet embarrassment everyone pretends not to notice. Before she can step back, Ethan moves. He takes the microphone from Daniel's hand. The room freezes. Actually, Ethan says, his voice calm but unmistakably firm, I would like to say something. Daniel's smile falters. Ethan, this is not the time. Ethan does not look at him. He looks at the room. At events like this, he continues, we like to believe we are celebrating love, unity, and commitment. But too often, we use them to reinforce who we think belongs and who does not. Murmurs ripple through the guests. Lily's heart pounds. She reaches for his arm, but he does not move. I brought Lily here tonight knowing exactly how this room would react, Ethan says. And I allowed it to test something I should have questioned a long time ago. Daniel shifts uncomfortably. You are making this uncomfortable, he mutters. It should be uncomfortable, Ethan replies evenly. Because respect should not depend on how someone dresses, where they come from, or how easily they fit into our expectations. He turns then, finally, toward Lily. She is here because I asked her to be, he says. And because she chose to stand beside me when it would have been easier to walk away. The room is completely silent now. Lily feels tears threaten, but she refuses to let them fall. Ethan faces the crowd again. If that makes anyone uncomfortable, he continues, that discomfort belongs to them, not to her. Daniel opens his mouth to speak, but Ethan cuts him off with a single glance. This is my family, Ethan says, and this is my choice. The microphone clicks as he sets it back on the stand. For a moment, no one moves. Then someone begins to clap. Slowly, deliberately, another joins. Then another. The applause spreads, hesitant at first, then stronger, filling the room with a sound that feels earned, not automatic. Daniel steps back, his face tight, the performance over. Ethan turns to Lily, his voice low. Are you all right? She nods, though her chest feels too full to speak. He offers his hand again, not for show this time, but for grounding. She takes it. And as they stand there together, Lily understands something clearly for the first time that night. This is no longer a role. This is a line Ethan has crossed publicly, intentionally, with no guarantee of what comes next. And whatever happens after tonight, neither of them will be able to pretend this was just part of the contract. The night carries on in a strange, tense calm. The guests have returned to their conversations, but the earlier tension still lingers, crackling in the corners of the room. Lily feels it in the way people look at her now, not with the same curiosity as before, but with something different, something more uncertain. She can see the whispers, the second guesses and the glances exchanged when they think no one is watching. The band plays a softer tune now, but even the music seems to fall under the weight of the moment. The laughter around her feels a little too loud, too forced. Ethan remains by her side, never leaving her alone, but the words between them have quieted. Neither of them speaks much after the toast. She isn't sure what to say. What could be said after what just happened? Everything has changed in a way that neither of them had planned for. Lily glances at Ethan, noting the way he holds himself, the small tension in his jaw. He doesn't seem to regret his choice, but she knows this wasn't easy for him. Standing up to his family, to the weight of his own reputation, had to cost him something. "You did not have to do that," she says quietly, leaning closer to him. "You didn't need to put yourself in the middle of all this." Ethan turns to her, his eyes steady, but his voice betrays a softness she hasn't heard before. "Yes, I did. You deserved it." Lily's heart skips. She is not sure how to respond. "It's just a wedding," she says, though she knows the words fall short. "Just one night." "It's never just one night," he replies, his gaze holding hers. "And this wasn't just about a wedding, it was about something more." She pauses, feeling the weight of his words settle into her chest. The truth is that she had spent so much time convincing herself she didn't need to be part of this world, convincing herself that pretending was enough. But now, standing here with Ethan, with everything that has happened, she feels something different stirring inside her. She isn't sure what it is yet, but it's not fear. It's hope. They both stand there for a moment, in the middle of the dance floor, surrounded by noise and celebration, yet somehow separated from it all. It's as if they've created a space of their own, a quiet pause where the world can spin on its axis, but for just this moment, they are together in it. And then, as the song winds down, the room begins to empty out. Lily watches as Ethan's sister, Claire, walks past them toward the exit. For a moment, she catches Claire's eye. Claire offers a small, but genuine, smile. It's not a smile of approval. It's something else, something that feels more like understanding. Lily breathes in, letting the night settle around her. She glances back at Ethan, who is watching her closely. She wonders if he can see the change in her too, the way the mask is slipping, the way she's starting to show more of herself. More than the simple girl he brought here, more than the role she played. "Let's go," Ethan says, his voice low, but gentle. He doesn't ask if she's ready to leave. He doesn't need to. He knows. She nods, and together, they walk toward the door. The night outside is cooler than she remembers, but it feels like freedom. For the first time, it's not just an escape from the chaos inside, but an opening. An opportunity to start something real. Lily feels Ethan's hand on the small of her back, steadying her as they walk into the night. And as they leave the estate behind, she knows she can't go back to pretending. Not anymore. The car ride back to the city is quiet, but there is a different kind of silence now. It is not awkward or heavy, but peaceful in a way Lily did not expect. The tension from the wedding has started to dissipate, replaced by something gentler. Lily looks out the window, watching the streetlights blur past. The hum of the engine fills the space between them, but it feels less like distance and more like a quiet moment shared. Ethan does not speak right away. He simply drives, his hands steady on the wheel, his eyes focused on the road ahead. For a while, Lily wonders what he is thinking. What is going through his mind after everything that happened? Finally, after what feels like an eternity, Ethan glances over at her. "You okay?" he asks, his voice softer than usual. Lily nods, but the words catch in her throat. "I don't know what happens next," she says quietly. "Tonight, everything's changed." Ethan's gaze stays on the road, but there is an understanding in his eyes when he responds. "I think it has. For both of us." Lily looks down at her hands, resting in her lap. She feels exposed, but in a way that isn't uncomfortable. It's as if, in those moments back at the wedding, she had stepped out of the shadows. She's not sure what she's stepping into yet, but she knows she doesn't want to go back. "You didn't have to do what you did," she says, her voice almost a whisper. "Standing up for me. I'm just a stranger in your world." Ethan shakes his head. "No, you're not. You never were." You were never just a stranger. What, Nawan? Lily looks up at him, the sincerity in his voice unmistakable. She can feel something shifting in her chest, something she had buried deep inside her for so long. Ethan continues. I never wanted to be the kind of person who hides behind expectations, behind appearances. Tonight, I realized I've been doing it without even thinking about it. His words hit her in a way she doesn't expect. For a moment, she's unsure of what to say. But when she does speak, the words feel like they've been waiting to escape. You're not like them, she says softly, meaning it. You're not like the others. Done the Statens. Ethan's lips curve slightly at the corners. I'm glad you think that. The car pulls into a quiet street. The city skyline looms in the distance, the lights shimmering against the dark sky. As Ethan parks the car, the silence stretches between them again. This time, it's not uncertain. It's the calm that comes after a storm, after everything has been said and done. Lily unbuckles her seatbelt and opens the door. As she steps out of the car, she turns to look at Ethan. For a moment, they just stand there, the night air cool against her skin. I don't know what happens now, Lily says, her voice low. But I don't want to go back to what I was. Ethan steps out of the car, walking toward her. He doesn't answer right away, but when he does, his voice is steady. Neither do I. He haven't on this end. They stand there for a few moments, looking at each other. It feels like the beginning of something, but neither of them knows exactly what that something is. But in this moment, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that they're both standing here, together, in the quiet of the night. And for the first time, Lily feels like she belongs.